Okay, good evening and welcome. I'm your Zoom master for the evening, and Liz Welsh is going to be helping out and maybe helping me as well. So all looking at the screen, all very experienced Zooms participants, so no need to go into any great detail about managing Zoom. Only just a reminder to follow the usual rules that you for an ordinary meeting. What you wouldn't do at an ordinary meeting, you wouldn't do here, like answering a phone or being distracted. If a speaker is speaking, make sure that your volume is turned off. The chat function will be on, but for items relevant to tonight's meeting, not necessarily posting notices about club meetings or whatever. And just letting you know that the meeting is being recorded. So with that, I'm going to hand you over to our immediate past district director and MC for the night, Mr. Daniel Saunders. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that excellent introduction, Martin. Welcome, everyone. I'm delighted to see so many faces here tonight. My objectives of calling this meeting is to give our members an overview of different district officers, district leaders, how their succession works, how they're appointed, how they're elected. I want to give you quite a broad picture of where the district sits within the whole Toastmasters family. But I also want to make that a personal story by offering testimonials from various officers through the night, and also inviting the region advisor, Francesco Fedele, to give his view on the training, support and peer networking that helps make a member's journey into leadership rewarding and productive. So let's have a quick look at the agenda. There you go. So guest of honor tonight is Jim Kokocki, who will be giving the keynote speech shortly. I'll just briefly, before introducing, reflect as district officers our collective purpose. We uphold and role model the values integrity, respect, service, excellence. We have a district mission that we collectively support. We build new clubs and support all clubs in achieving excellence. And what does excellence look like? It looks like the delivery of the brand promise, empowering individuals through personal and business development and professional development. That should be stamped through district officers like a stick of rock. It is our compass. So where do the district officers fit in the whole Toastmasters family? As an organization, we're member-centric. We have this service leadership model. The members are king at the apex. They're supported by their club officers within their club meetings and the club structures. Now, the first level of district leadership comes in. The clubs are supported by their area director. The areas are arranged into divisions. We have 12 in District 71, and the area directors are supported by the division director. And finally, you have your district leadership team that supports the divisions, supporting the areas, supporting the clubs, supporting every member. And we at the district leadership team level are supported by our region advisor, who will have a great pleasure to introduce to you later on this evening. I'm going to briefly touch on the agenda. Welcome and keynote at 7 o'clock. Then I'm going to review area directors, division directors, district managers, district directors, the region advisors role. And I'm going to start to wrap up with the elections timeline, moving into a questions and close at 8 o'clock. Right, let's stop the share. I'd now like to introduce Jim Kokocki, our guest and keynote speaker. Jim was past international president between 2015 and 2016. Jim has served as a District 45 Division Director for the year 2021-2022, accepting a vacancy when there was a call for volunteers last year. He'd never served previously as a District Director in his role progression, and there was a need for volunteers, so he stepped in. Further, my 3 area directors were distinguished that year, one of which select distinguished, and my division became select distinguished. So please give a big round of hand, past international president, Jim Kokocki.
You, past district director Daniel. Welcome everybody, Mr. Region Advisor, district leaders. Thanks for showing some interest in district leadership. To all those who were here today and to those who will watch this a little earlier. It's my pleasure to participate and offer perspective. And as I look at your agenda, you're going to get lots of detail on the various roles. So in trying to determine how I can make a contribution, I thought I'd take you through a short portion of a longer presentation I do about finding your purpose, finding your passion, and executing upon that. And the way that I will do that is I'm going to describe the 3 types of people I find that tend to step into district leadership. There are some other variations, and all these types are good. These are just observations I've made. And at the end, after I go through the 3 of them in my 5 minutes today, I'll just look for a show of hands somehow, either physically or using the reaction button in Zoom to let me know where you think you fit. So let me take you through what I observe as the 3 types of people who step forward for district leadership. And as I say, all these are good reasons, but you might see yourself, I hope you see yourself in one of these. The first group, I call them the strivers, and they're more internally focused. These are folks who absolutely love Toastmasters, and we all love Toastmasters. But these folks are tremendously committed to Toastmasters and want to see us grow the network of clubs, want to see every club achieve excellence and distinguished, want to see all the members achieve their personal goals within Toastmasters. So they're more internally driven in supporting the organization. And maybe these folks have watched your district leaderships, Brenda and Daniel and Elizabeth and Danny, and said, you know, I want some of what they've got. I want to be like them. They might not be able to articulate why, but there's an internal reason that they want to step into these positions. So those I call the strivers. Second group, I call them the skyrockets. And these are the folks, they've got a bigger goal and they've got it well articulated. They know what it is. They want to start a business. They want to start a restaurant. They want to start a cat shelter. They want to start a social enterprise. They've got a bigger purpose that's driving them. And they see how performing one of these roles for a year fits into their larger purpose. They can see how serving as an area director and learning to motivate clubs to become distinguished and to have members work through pathways and get educational achievements and attract new members and do great public relations to attract people to the group. They see how that fits into their bigger picture. Or maybe they want to be division director, which is more of a middle management type role where your purpose is to coach the area directors, not to visit clubs necessarily, but to be more of a coach and advisor in the middle to support those area director teams. And as Daniel mentioned, I'd never served as division director in my long tenure in Toastmasters and got to do that last year and was very pleased with the results. So that's the second group, the skyrockets. They know where they're going and they know how these positions will fit and deliver skills that will be helpful to them. The third group I call the seekers. And they know there's more out there for them. They want to achieve more in their life. They want to do more things, but it's not well defined. They just know that there's another calling and they're searching for that. They're seeking for that. And they too see how the skills that you develop in managing a team, in working in a larger team, and working on a district team can help them complement and develop skills that will be important to them. So those are the 3 groups that I see, and I hope you think about this as you hear more details on the details of the roles as we progress this evening. So the first group is the strivers, more internally driven, just love Toastmasters, want to be like other district leaders they've seen in the past and just want to make that contribution. Then the skyrockets, they've got the bigger goal, well articulated, and they're not entirely sure how to get there, but they know that serving in these positions will deliver skills that are relevant to their future successes. And the third group's the seekers. They know there's something more for them, but they don't know precisely what. But they see how exercising these skills as a district leader of a various sort will help them develop. So how about a show of hands? I don't know what's the best way to do that. I can see about 6 people on the screen. Who would say they would be a striver, more internally focused? Nobody? Really? Okay, or you just, there we go. Thank you, Red. All right, how about the skyrockets? You've got a well-articulated goal and you're on your way to, okay, look at that. Here we are. 4, that's beautiful. And how about the seekers? There's something more for you. Okay. Daniel's putting his hand up for 2. That's okay. There's no rules here. I'm not going to be too rigid with the rules. So that's good. Okay. And I see Charles down there too. So thanks for participating in that. So I want to mention, in wrapping this up, those are 3 types that I see. And this is about motivation. And I love studying motivation and exercising motivational techniques. So this is about motivation to take on a position. And it's not about performance. And I just want to give the caution that just because someone's motivated to take a position and sees how it fits, doesn't necessarily mean they'll do a good job. And that's where the management comes in, and making sure that we're connecting with people. That's management and leadership, making sure people are off to a good start, continue to put effort to it. Things go wrong in people's lives from time to time, and sometimes people don't perform because of personal issues or other issues. So I'm going to wrap it there. I want to get you thinking about, what's your motivation for considering these positions. I hope everybody on the call and everybody who views this at a later date chooses to step in. Tremendously rewarding positions. Back to you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much, Jim. That was a beautiful insight into the inspiration and motivation of leadership. I'd now like to move down the agenda to discuss the area director role. The areas are the district's link to the clubs. They're the conduit of the support that we provide the clubs, the resources that we can help clubs mobilize to help clubs on their journey of excellence. They support clubs by 2 visits a year. They support clubs by 2 contests a year. Well, 4 contests altogether, 2 contest events. And they can do a lot more besides in terms of motivation, recognition, awards, social networking, peer-to-peer networking, do a lot. A typical area council has the area director, area assistants in the form of program quality, club growth, area secretary. These are optional and appointed by the area director. The club presidents, the club vice presidents of education, and the VPs of membership form the full area council, and they, not the district, elect the next area director in District 71. I'd now like to introduce such an area director. I'm going to give the floor to Nigel Smith. And Nigel was last year's area director of the year, achieving President's Distinguished. He's the former area director of Area 39 in Division E. And professionally, Nigel is a project management coach at a software tech company, Sidetracker, director of a professional development and project management institute, UK chapter, which is a club, and a long-standing member of Toastmasters International, where he's currently president of both Bullring Speakers, Birmingham Bullring Speakers, and PMI UK Changemasters. Outside of this, he loves 80s music, new wave, anyone, world travel, Munich next week, and cars, just ditching dirty diesel and going to the dark side with electric, as long as Elon deliver it. So if I stop screen sharing and give you Nigel Smith for his views as an area director.
Thank you, immediate past district director Daniel, and welcome everyone. And thanks, Daniel. When I say boring speakers, it sounds like boring speakers, so it's good that my Birmingham accent sort of gets in the way and messes it up for everybody, but it is boring in the centre of Birmingham. So I just want to spend a few minutes just talking about my experience as an area director. I've got 3 things really that I want to share with you that can make it successful if you're contemplating having a go. First of all, it's about planning. Secondly, about setting goals. And third, it's about getting involved. And I think, as was mentioned already by Jim, all these district leadership roles are a fantastic opportunity to hone your leadership skills. And as an area director, you're going to be pretty much taking care of upwards of 100 members in your area. So first of all, I want to start with planning. Now, we all know the 6 Ps of planning. I'm just going to give you the 5 Ps tonight, which is the clean version. That's proper preparation prevents poor performance. So fundamentally, as a project manager by day, being an area director was pretty good at making me plan out the whole year. We've heard about the contests. We've heard about the visits. So that could be up to 10 visits per calendar year. There's a lot in there. So you need to calendarize exactly what you're going to do over time. You also need to factor into that what you're going to do to support club officer trainings, which go twice a year. And often you sort of jump into other divisions to help them out do that as well. And sometimes there's a call to action from the district to help out here, there and everywhere else. So a full busy year. And very often, as we all know in Toastmasters, the more you put in, the more you get out. Now, the second and the most important thing for me was all about setting goals, really. Now, I have to say that I think as Jim defined it, I am a skyrocket. I know exactly what I want. I know how to get it, and I know what it's going to take. But I had a particularly selfish reason because I actually wanted it as part of my DTM. And I thought, I've got everything else sort of almost lined up. I just need to go through this and it'll be really great to do. But fundamentally, what lay beyond that was actually to leave the area in a better place than I found it. And I was actually able to leave it in President's Distinguished status at the end of that particular Toastmasters year, which is pretty phenomenal. And one of the reasons of doing that comes onto one of the goals I'm going to share with you at the moment. Now, the first of the goals I set, not just for me, but also for all the members in my clubs in my area, was this thing I called the Inside Out Revolution. Now, we all know in Toastmasters clubs, it's okay doing speeches, doing roles within a club, but actually you want to use those skills outside of your club. You want to use them in other clubs, in other contests. Better still, you want to use them outside of Toastmasters, in your social life, in your professional and career life. Really use and hone those skills. So I was encouraging all members to actually do pathways level speeches in all of those areas. It's only when we use it in real life that it actually becomes true for us. And because we can often get comfortable within our home club setting. So that was the first thing I did. So I wanted various members within the clubs to do at least 3 speeches from their pathways outside of their own club. And also to visit as many clubs as possible to get that grounded experience, that cross-fertilization of ideas. My second goal was to set up a new club, which is fairly ambitious when I didn't really even know what an area director did. But a goal to set up a new club, again, it comes back to the district mission that Daniel mentioned to us at the start of this session tonight. And I'm really pleased to say that as a project manager, managed to get a bunch of other project managers together, and we chartered a club, PMI UK Changemakers, within 6 weeks. And I'm running out of time now, so the last thing I really want to run on to is actually get involved, work with your division director, lead the way on COTS and contests, jump in and deliver and support. Visit your clubs, speak, lead, listen, give more of yourself, develop that network. And I'll leave you one final thought, that people will remember people that do the right things. Daniel, over to you.
Thank you very much, Nigel. Quick big hand on that.
Thank you.
And now let's move on to our division directors. District 71 has 12 divisions, and the district council elects the division directors. The division directors take part, the division director applicants take part in the nominations process. The division director is the conduit for resources going down to support our clubs in their divisions by working through their area directors. A typical division council will have the area directors, but it will be supported with optional roles, assistant division director, program quality and club growth. And just a quick tip on these assistants. These are a great way to take a little bite-sized step towards becoming a district leader, a division director, for example. And the division directors, they support the district in achieving its goals of club growth, membership payments, and club excellence, distinguished clubs. Stop sharing. I'd now like to introduce Evelyn Compani, who was a Division Director of the Year for Division M in
Division J.
Division J in 2019, 2020.
Yes.
Evelyn Compani, 3 minutes on her views as Division Director.
Well, Daniel, when I was Division Director, I was headhunted for the role, and with much reluctance, I took it on, and I was very glad I did, because it was the nicest role I ever had in Toastmasters, and I enjoyed it immensely, both for the wonderful people that I had working for me and also for the nice job that it was. So what we did was we arranged 2 cots, 2 contests, and we had other things to do as well. So yeah, I looked after the area directors who looked after all the club business. And I have to say they were very efficient, and I always got everything in on time because the area directors sent them in on time. So, you know, anything that was great about my year as area director, as a division director, was the support I got from the people that were working with me. I'm not sure what else you want me to say, Daniel, because it's been 4 years. So,
All right, just one closing remark. What did you enjoy the most?
I enjoyed everything about it. I enjoyed organising the contests. I enjoyed organising the COTs. I enjoyed meeting the members. I enjoyed going places. And we had our own meetings as well, which were very enjoyable.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Evelyn.
Thank you.
A few minutes where we could introduce another division director of the year for Division N up in the north of England. That's Liz Welch, and she was the year later, 2020-21, with us all locked down. So Liz, can you just give a couple of minutes on your views and what you got out of your year as division director?
Thank you very much indeed, Mr. BD. Yes, I, as division director during 2021, it was an unusual year. I'm sure many of us will never forget that first lockdown contest we had in late, it was the conference, wasn't it? We had to all go online with that. It was such an amazing learning curve. I had been previously 2 years before as an area director, and I learned so much during that. And then I shadowed Tina as the assistant division director the following year, and then was fortunate to be elected into the Division N. At the time, it had some challenges due to the collapse of Area 51. 3 clubs went under, and the remaining club then joined Area 15. And that's where I was in that club as Area 15, and I had 3 other areas in the division. Amazingly, we grew a club as well, and for the first time in Division N's history, it became a President's Distinguished Division, and it was such a proud thing. And I actually said it was the members that did it. I was there, I was the division director, but if it hadn't been for their hard work, dedication, and tremendous forward thinking in so many things that they did, we would not have been President's Distinguished. I just found my book that I had during that time, and it's amazing the things I have in it. District 69, I went off to their TLI cot, and that's in Brisbane. And of course, I learned some absolutely brilliant things, and that was with Mark Snow. So one of the things being on Zoom allowed me the opportunity to go around and visit all the clubs, not only in my own district, my own division, the areas, but around the world. I got involved with Speechcraft. I learned something there as well. I move on. I made a list of all my clubs. And one of the things that I did is I looked at what they were. When did they charter? And I have here that Leeds, for example, was celebrating 19 years. That Strictly was going to celebrate 14 years. We had a 10-year one at Doncaster. And I made a point of making sure those clubs were recognised. And I think being part of that helped people understand where we were from the division, and that if a message came through from me about helping out at various costs, at the training, at the speech contests, that people were willing to help because I was helping them perhaps. But it was all around that leadership and the amount of support that I received, not only from the past division director, but from the district as a whole. We had a WhatsApp group that we were able to tap into, so that all of the 12 division directors in the WhatsApp group, and I believe, Daniel, you were in it as well as the growth director, and we would be sending messages to each other, what's happening, where we're going, how do we help? So many things in this book that I forgot I had. I have all the speech contests that were happening, the dates of it, and it was just to help me organise and make sure that I could be with the clubs when they were doing their COPs. I had two computers set up at one point because both of them did it on the same day. I'd never done that. I learned a lot as Zoom. But if people want to do it, it's an amazing journey as a division or area director to get into leadership roles, and I would certainly recommend it. So back over to you, Daniel, if you're back in the room. You dropped off, did you? There you are. Right, Daniel. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Liz. Sorry about that. I had a power surge that knocked the computer over. Still, we improvise. That's Toastmasters. Their show goes on. So thank you very much, Liz, for what I take was an excellent set of views on being a division director, very motivational. At this stage in the agenda, I'd like to move on to start to consider the district leadership team. The district leadership team consists of two parts, effectively, 3 managers and 3 directors. The 3 managers are finance manager, administration manager, and public relations manager. Finance manager and administration manager are appointed by the incoming district director each year. But the public relations manager in District 71 is an elective post and takes part in district nominations and elections. Public relations manager is very much up for grabs. And the reason we have public relations manager as well as the 3 directors up for election is because District 71 straddles Ireland and Great Britain, and it enables us to have an even mixture of directors from both sides of the Irish Sea. And allows a rational progression. Sometimes it comes British, Irish, it all balances out. And first up, with the finance manager, I'd like to shortly introduce Eileen O'Neill. Last 2 years finance manager. The finance manager's role is pretty much self-explained. They keep track of district finances and ensure that we stay within budgetary limits and retain overall fiscal control of the district's money, which effectively is the members' money given back to us by World Headquarters. Eileen O'Neill.
Thanks very much, Daniel, and good evening, everybody. Well, if anyone out there is considering the finance manager role, I enjoyed it so much that I came back and I did a 2nd year. So there you go. And it was right through lockdown as well. It's a very interesting role, and I just want to share with you some of the key things that you will do as finance manager, and then some of the key benefits I got out of being finance manager for those 2 years that still sit with me and will continue to over time. The key functions, I'm going to go through 6 of them, and Daniel has already touched on them. As finance manager, you'll help the leadership team to prepare its budget for the year. You will learn how the funds are allocated to the district and the policies and protocols governing how the funds can be spent. This is a huge insight into Toastmasters International and how it works worldwide, and very interesting. You prepare monthly income and expenditure accounts and a quarterly budget update. And that just gives a narrative to Toastmasters International on what was your budget and how's it going? Is everything going to plan? If there's anything that you need support on, the team in WHQ are there to help you, very supportive. And then as part of this, you'll also learn how to use the district's financial management system. Any of you out there who have dealings with accounts will probably know Sage. That's what the Toastmasters International uses, and an expense system called Concur, which is used worldwide. So if you're used to any sort of a finance system at all, you'll get the hang of that very quickly. You present Concur training at district officer training, and you present the budget updates at the district executive committee and the district council committee meetings. You liaise with the district audit team twice a year, in January and in July, and they have to prepare monthly or half-yearly accounts that they submit to WHQ. As finance manager, you're also a very key member of the DLT, and this is such an important role. It's not just doing the finance, but you're contributing at the meetings throughout the year, advising and providing support, not only on financial matters, other matters as well. So your opinion counts. It is useful for the finance manager to have a finance background, but it's not compulsory, and previous finance managers are always there to support you. And I always found I had loads of support. So that's sort of what you'll be doing. Now, the key benefits, I got great insights into how Toastmasters International is managed at Global HQ, the importance of the Distinguished District Programme. I knew about the club programme and the division programme, but not at district level. And what's required in the other DLT roles to give you an insight if you want to go forward, and how important each club is in the success of Toastmasters International worldwide. So the importance of the clubs. The leadership training which is offered to the DLT is excellent. You learn about high-performing teams. You get great insights into your own personality, and you'll do various different tests, etc. Found that very interesting. How to adjust your communication style so that your team can perform to the highest standards, and that you, and this is really important in Toastmasters, know how to persuade all the different personality types. That came as an additional benefit. And then, of course, the opportunity to deliver training to groups of people who are bigger than the community you'd normally deliver to as a member of a Toastmasters club. So you've a club with 20 members, you're going to be delivering to rooms of 60 or 100. That's a great personal challenge and really helps along the way. And of course, finally, the network that you'll build is absolutely incredible, and it's worldwide. So not only the members of the DLT, which is a huge supportive network, but fellow finance managers and DLT members right across the world. And I think another thing is you'll become an expert in the field of finance in the district and across WHQ as well. And that'll serve you, and recommend the role more. I'd thoroughly encourage anybody who's out there thinking, will I just do it? Thanks, Daniel.
Thank you very much, Eileen. Wonderful. Eileen is District Toastmaster of the Year for the previous year. She attributes the energy she gets for constantly challenging herself with mental and physical challenges, and loves early morning workouts at the gym. Founder member of Enterprise Island EI Toastmasters, Monaghan Toastmasters, and is now a member of Innovative Leaders Toastmasters that was formerly IBM Blue. Thank you very much, Eileen. Next role I would like to introduce is Administration Manager. The Administration Manager's role is to help keep the committee meetings, the district leadership team meetings, the district council meetings, the district executive committee meetings accurately minuted so that all of us can be held to account. The guest speaker is from District 109 down in the southeast of Ireland, the immediate past District Director Lillian Shaftakola. She's a finance manager who was a member of Toastmasters for 23 years. a distinguished Toastmaster, and currently the District Leadership Committee Chair in District 109. Lillian, your 3 minutes on the Administration Manager. Thank you very much, Lillian, for coming.
Thank you. Can you all hear me? Yes, great. So good evening to you all. I was the administration manager of my district about 5 years ago. And to begin with, I would like to clarify that the administration manager is indeed the secretary of the district. What does that entail, you may ask? Well, one thing I realized early on is that the duties of the role can be split into official and unofficial ones. The official duties were to take the minutes of district meetings and then ensure that they were published in a timely manner, to set up our district WhatsApp groups, Zoom accounts, Google Drive, and all the other communication tools that we were using. Then I had to monitor and maintain them throughout the year. I had to handle the main district correspondence, sending emails, announcements out on behalf of the district team and the DLC chair, whether these were to members of the district or to the TI headquarters. I had to liaise with coordinators of district events and offer them any support needed. For example, this was done when the trips for our district executive committee meetings were being arranged. And last but not least, I was keeping all the district records. Now, as I said before, these were the official duties, as they're also listed by Toastmasters International. Unofficially, though, I soon discovered that there was so much more going on. As I wandered around the district throughout the year offering support, I found myself becoming the eyes and ears of the district director. I would discover member needs and concerns and convey these to the rest of the core team. Members who were uncomfortable approaching the district trio directly felt at ease just chatting with me. So I took advantage of that to see how we could best help them. At the same time, I ended up being the go-to person of the team. What can I say? Let's see, I would often serve as a help desk, a shoulder to cry on, even a complaints manager, and oh yes, a mediator to help with conflict management between members, clubs, etc. Even though it's true, therefore, that the role was time-consuming, I found myself at the end of my year wanting more, and I immediately reached out to apply for further roles on the district team until I had worked my way up to the district director role. So what had I enjoyed so much about being the admin manager? Well, I would say that first, I was able to move beyond my club's boundaries to meet and work with a variety of people from all over my district. Interacting with so many members was fun and educational at the same time. As I found ways to support them all, I discovered myself learning so much about how our district operated, and I felt close to all the clubs. At the same time, I gained a lot of technical knowledge, which has served me well in my professional life. For example, when I first took on the role, I knew very little about Zoom. Those were pre-COVID days, and Google Drive, etc., and Slack. By the end of the year, I had become quite the expert though, especially since the district director I was supporting was very technically minded, and I had to keep up with him. Finally, I was able to improve my leadership skills. For example, I have always had the tendency to try and struggle through problems alone. But my year as admin manager showed the value of communicating with my fellow members and working as a team. I also came to appreciate the importance of effective delegation. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, even though many people would believe that the administration manager is not a particularly sexy role, I would actually say that there is a lot more to it than one can see at first glance. Definitely the lessons learned that year supported me throughout my career. So do go for it, and you can always reach out to me for advice. I would love to hear from you. Back to you, Mr. Chair.
Hey, thank you very much, Lillian. That was a beautiful and motivational tour de force through the administration manager role. If anyone is interested in the finance manager and the administration manager roles, please express your interest to the district leadership team, the district director, and they can put your names forward to the incoming district leadership team for potential appointment. And you never know, they might surprise you with some other offers. express that interest. Now, moving on to the elected role of Public Relations Manager. And the Public Relations Manager has really kind of three responsibilities to the district. One is our external communications. One is supporting our internal communications between the district leadership team and its divisions and its areas and its members. And the final area of responsibility for a Public Relations Manager is as brand steward, helping the district's clubs adhere to brand standards, which is very important for strong and consistent global messaging. I'd now like to introduce Paola Perina from, again, District 109 in the southeast of Europe, 14 different countries. She's the immediate past Public Relations Manager. She's multilingual, has been a business owner in a fashion business for 2 decades. She's now Director of Marketing and Support at a startup made of young women with big dreams. Her background is in psychology. Paola's professional expertise is in creating communication strategy, building thought leadership, and writing marketing plans. Please give the floor to Paola.
Thank you so much. Can you all hear me? I have a bad voice tonight. I'm kind of not that well. But anyways, I want to tie into what Jim said earlier, and that is motivation. And I see we're 22 people here tonight, and I want to ask you all a question. And that is, if you could improve your large scale online communication skills so that you can really showcase what you do as a professional or as a business owner, and if you could master online communication platforms to attract new audiences, would that help you attract new clients in your profession, or perhaps make more money in your business? What is your answer to this one? If your answer is yes, well, then you are absolutely right, because communication is key in any business or a profession. And what I would like to say here tonight is that at the moment in District 71, as Daniel said earlier, there's a big opportunity for everybody here up for grabs, and that is the public relations manager's position. And the reason for that is that because as a PRM, you will have the opportunity to learn and to practice large-scale communication techniques. You will learn how to leverage the power of social media. You will learn how to set up a newsletter, take care of it. You will learn how to manage a website and many other skills. So now I'm going to kind of go over the 4 main areas that you will be responsible for, and that will be also your learning training gym, where you can really develop that large communication skills muscle. Well, first of all, you're going to be the voice of the district. You're going to be the voice of the trio, because whatever happens there with the trio behind closed doors, they are strategizing, they are preparing programs and incentives for clubs. All of that needs to be communicated effectively so that it actually reaches clubs. Because if whatever they do up there does not reach the clubs, that is not taking the district anywhere. So that is a very key point, an important skill to develop, and also duty that you have, being the voice of the district. But you're also going to be the voice of the district towards the external world. You're going to help the district put its best foot forward when it comes to people who land on the website, for instance, but not just outside of Toastmasters world. Sometimes it can be also Toastmasters from other parts of the world. You want your website and your district to really show that they are on top of things, that they have a good website, a good looking one that also is very useful to the people that land there. Besides these 2 large areas, you also have another one, which is I find very important, and I also found very exciting, and that is training. You need to train VPPRs and give them support. You can either train them yourself, or you will need to delegate that and find the right people for the training. And finally, the area, and I would say it's the final thing I'm going to mention, but it's not the less important one, and that is the brand, being the brand, the person who will take care of the brand of the Toastmasters International brand within the district. That means you will need to check on the clubs and see how they're using it and help VPPRs use it at its best. I had a lot of fun as a public relations manager. In fact, I had a blast. It really was a great time for me. In the beginning, I as soon as I got elected, because in District 109, it's also an elected position, I felt that I could not make it, that I was not the right person, because I come from the business world, I'm an entrepreneur. So I was not familiar with the structure of a multinational like it would be Toastmasters International. I did not feel prepared to create a communication plan there. But I very, very quickly grew into this. And what I would like to say and end with, because I see I'm on the red here, is don't be afraid. If you don't feel that you're ready for this, step out. There will be lots of help for you. And I also will be willing to help anyone who would like to take on the PRM role. And I would be very, very happy to assist with this. Back to you, Daniel.
Thank you very much, Paola, and please do get well soon. I know you've been struggling with the fever for the last few days. So I'd like to thank all of our representative district managers. Just collectively round of applause for. To the district trio, top three, the directors of the district. The first one I'm going to present is the Club Growth Director. It's being presented by my predecessor, Gerard Mannix, who was the District Director in 2020-21. His progression as a district leader started with area director, then through to Division B out in the southeast of Ireland, and then onto the district leadership team, Club Growth Programme Quality District Director. He's been a member for 10 years. He has been retired for 5 years, and he has a broad set of interests that have included at times Rotary and the Samaritans. The Club Growth Director's role is to support the district in building and retaining clubs to achieve the club growth goal, and it is also to support the membership payments goal by supporting clubs with retention and with marketing. Gerard.
Good evening, Mr. Immediate Past District Director and all fellow members present here this evening. I'm kind of saddened that we don't have people that are going to be potential leaders at this stage. But anyway, I'm going to continue. In my situation, I was, as Daniel outlined, I was a division director, and I boosted the division to be president distinguished. And I established 2 new clubs. And I felt cock of the walk, you know, that I would love to kind of join the district leadership team. And anyway, it came that I got elected for that. But my goodness, Daniel says, what were your achievements or what were your successes or whatever? Goodness me, when I joined the district leadership team, it was rather a bit of a kind of a shock. It's a different era also in Toastmasters. There are fellow colleagues of mine who have been in administration and PR, but I got into the third rung of the whole thing in being Club Growth Director. Now, my previous life was as a clinical dentist. The best digital thing that I could do was to interpret an X-ray. But I'm sure there were many situations where I had in Toastmasters where I was very lacking in IT knowledge as to how to communicate and relate, and the different platforms that were developing, which superseded my age of retirement at that stage in time. But anyway, I took myself to get help on that, and it was most beneficial. With regard to the club growth aspect of life, we deal with almost 3 situations here this evening. Number 1, I was club growth director in 2018 to 19, prior to pandemic. It was an exciting time for club growth. My goodness, we grew many clubs. We were just shy of under 200 member payments to be a distinguished district at that time. Our club growth was in the proper position. Then COVID came in 2020. And I'm sure it changed the atmosphere of all that perception of club growth, club maintenance, etc. Then we're coming into this new era. And I can really tell you, anybody who has any anticipation to be a club growth director, I can see from my own club, and I'm after coming from Division B, club officer training today, I can see new shoots of growth happening, where people are coming back together, not to Toastmasters, but in a comfort zone to be together, which is the most important thing. Because in times that Toastmasters are together, that we learn most in areas of fun. The other part of the situation is that we can see where Toastmasters has been for the last 2.5 years. What was the best thing to do? We were very, very fortunate to have Zoom. And also, we're doubly fortunate because we can have one-to-one communication with different people on different aspects of what is needed. I see I'm on a red light. So that I'm going to conclude is that my recommendation is for anybody who's thinking of going forward for district leadership, it's a challenge. Doesn't come easy, but the reward is absolutely great. And the teamship that happens, I was very, very fortunate to have great team leaders while I was there. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Gerard. Big hand for that. I'd now like to move to my also fellow past district director, John Cox, district director for 2019-2020. He's going to talk about the program quality director's brief. The program quality director supports the district by delivering club excellence and distinguished clubs. John, there's a quick bit of background. He was on the district leadership team for 5 years. He did 2 years as the finance manager, then proceeded through the 3 trio roles. He was also the 2015 Nottingham Robin Hood Conference Director. Please welcome John on Programme Quality Directorship.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On the basis that I thought I was going to be talking about Club Growth Director, I was well prepared for that until I noticed that I was actually going to do Club Growth, Programme Quality Director, not Club Growth. But that has actually caused me to reflect on the differences of each of the roles that I've done on the district. All 3 had very different set of challenges and ultimately very different outcomes. I was fortunate to have had an 18-month lead-in and experience on the DLT as the finance manager prior to joining the trio. And Club Growth Director was probably one of the roles in Toastmasters that I enjoyed the most because it more closely matched what I've been doing in my working career. Program Quality Director was the most successful in terms of the Distinguished District Programme, where we achieved Smedley Distinguished in Distinguished Clubs. And as District Director was the most challenging, as it was the year that everything changed in the world, and we all and our clubs went into lockdown. I had spent most of my career helping clients to be better at managing their organisations, growing their businesses and becoming more productive and profitable. The Club Growth Director probably most suited my skill set. So what is it that the Programme Quality Director does? As PQD, you are responsible for all aspects of education and training within the district. And that was all about the content and delivery, primarily of district officer training and club officer training. This included supporting the quality club programming efforts and promoting the district club programme and planning and executing the district conference. I was fortunate in that respect that I had been the conference director of the 2015 Nottingham Robin Hood Conference. I was also fortunate that as club growth director, I had researched and launched the blueprint for club and membership growth that actually shared good examples of good and best practice in club quality. I've always championed the Moments of Truth programme that helps get member feedback, and I also felt that the Toastmasters value of excellence was poorly understood. At the beginning of my year as Programme Quality Director, I focused on what were the priorities, and I would certainly recommend anybody taking on one of the district leadership roles is that in every year there are going to be different priorities, and it's to focus on those. I always remember somebody saying to me on district that you should make the main thing the main thing. And I think it's identifying what are the priorities and focusing your attention on that. And certainly in my year as Programme Quality Director, it was about the continued promotion of best practice and the Distinguished Club Programme. And we did that through emailing, webinars, workshops, and newsletters. It was about making direct contact with corporate clubs because we were seeing that we weren't getting corporate club officers involved in the Toastmasters family and the Distinguished Club Programme. Very few of them ever participated in training. So it was actually making direct contact with those and trying to engage them more in what we were doing. It was about promoting the concept of pursuit of excellence. I've always banged on in all my period in the district leadership team about the importance of the excellence value and the fact that, you know, it's very difficult to actually understand what is it that excellence looks like. I've always been of a believer is that not every football club is excellent. You know, very few actually get into the Premier League. And I think the same thing applies to Toastmasters clubs, is that there are those that outperform others. And what can we learn from those? And can we share that best practice? It was also about raising the profile of pathways. We were in the early stage of pathways and we were getting not 100% engagement in pathways program. People were still working through the old program. So we had to put a lot of effort into trying to encourage more and more people to sign up to pathways and actually start to get involved in it. And then it was all about making sure that the conference worked. And in that year, that was the one and only conference that we had. I think in previous years, we'd had two. So what about the future? I think that certainly I'd recommend anybody to take on one of the leadership roles. I think for a variety of reasons, Toastmasters is more challenging than it has been in the past, and it needs better leaders with the strength and courage to do something new. I would certainly recommend that if you have the opportunity, please have a go at getting involved in district leadership.
Thank you very much, John. Moving up to the district director role, the top role of the trio. The district director's role, really, in summary, if you think about it, they have ultimate fiduciary responsibility for the district, which is basically to ensure Toastmasters resources are applied in the interests of the members. The members come first. It's the members' money. The members come first, and it is their interest that's first and foremost with fiduciary responsibility. Other roles of the district director are overseeing staff and leadership, keeping people motivated, chairing meetings, that sort of thing. And if need be, called upon to organise disciplinary processes of any of the other officers that have been reported. The man that I'd like to present to district director role is predecessor, past district director, Red Skelton. He was district director in 2017, 2018. He's been a member for over 20 years. And for over 20 years of that, he's been a member of Brandon Speakers in Cambridgeshire. Please give it to Red Skelton.
Thank you very much, Chairman Daniels. I appreciate the opportunity to come and speak tonight, and also for Pasadena International President Jim Kokocki for being here as well. Something that you said actually today, Jim, actually kind of perked my interest in this whole thing. My reason for going forward in the whole Toastmaster leadership is because of the self-drive. It was inside. I love Toastmasters and I love everything it stands for. I am a big believer in Toastmasters, and I think that was the way you put those people in 3 categories. I thought was pretty excellent. But as I was going up the ladder, start off area director, the division director, I got talked into running for club growth director, and luckily I was successful in that, and went up to QD and then up to district director. Every step of the way was a challenge. And when I became district director, the challenge has just increased quite 2-fold, 3-fold, 4-fold, if you will. But one thing I found out, that anything is possible, because if you surround yourself with the right people, you are going to have a successful team. And I can honestly say, I know people say this all the time, but I can honestly say I have the best, just the DLT that could be possibly put together. And as a team, we actually worked together and we just kind of rode this whole thing out. And, you know, you're going to come up, if you're a district director, you're going to be hit with some things that you cannot even think about. It's just going to blow your mind. And you'll think, wow, where did that come from? That is not even possible. But if you have the right people around you, they're going to help you talk you through those. And you're going to have the official mentors. You're going to have your official mentors. Luckily, I had a wonderful group around me, like I said. And as we was going through, and one thing you want to always keep in mind when you're in a leadership role at the district level, no matter what position it is to keep the core values in mind. When you make your decisions, if you follow those core values, then nobody can second guess what you're saying. People may not like everything that every decision you make, because every decision you make, and you think about this, every decision you make is actually going to affect about 4,500 people. And hopefully every decision you make, most people is going to be happy with that, but there's going to be some people that are not. But as long as you follow the core values as you are making your decisions, you can't go wrong. And again, like everybody was saying, I would invite anybody to come on to any of the district level roles. And if you feel the desire, you feel the need, you love Toastmasters, then please come on board, because there's no better way to show how much you like Toastmasters than by becoming a leader of the district. So with that, I'd like to turn it back to Daniel and say thank you very much for the opportunity, and thank you very much for the team that I had, and good luck.
Thank you very much, Red. So that wraps up the district leadership team, the managers and the directors. All of the 3 directors that you've just heard from, all of those roles are elected each year at the district business meeting. The club growth director role, we as the district leadership committee have to find a minimum of 2 candidates. All the other roles, a minimum of 1 candidate. One of the biggest questions you may have when invited to step up and be a leader is, am I enough? Another question you may have is, where's this exciting journey going to go to? And the giant whose shoulders you can stand on to answer both of those questions is the region advisor that supports our district. And this year, that region advisor is currently Francesco Fedele, who's going to give you a brief overview of his role. A bit about Francesco. He found out about Toastmasters in July 2011. He fell in love. He became a member of Toastmasters Roma in Italy. He achieved his first DTM after 3 years, covering all officer roles in his club. In 3 years? I love the maths of that. He has been a charter member of 4 clubs and last year started an advanced club. He has been a district leader for 6 years and was the first district director of District 109. So District 109 are in the house tonight. Leading the district to become a Smedley Distinguished District, just the top honours worldwide, I believe. And he is currently serving as Region Advisor of Region 10, serving all of the European districts, which goes down into the tops of North Africa and goes east all the way out to the Pacific Islands of Russia, I believe. So that's a big patch, Francisco. So, floor's yours.
Thank you very much, Daniel. And yes, what is a region advisor? Well, we started with an area director, and we are closing circle because a region advisor is really more or less like an area director, but rather than taking care of clubs, I take care of districts. So I work with district trios in all the 8 districts that there are in Europe. And in the same way, like an area director would train the club officers, I train the district leaders. In the same way, like an area director would visit the clubs, I visit the districts. And I really recently, yesterday, had the opportunity of being with the leaders of District 71. Like any other role in Toastmaster, it's a great opportunity to learn something. And sometimes you may think, like Daniel mentioned and many of you mentioned already, am I ready to take on the role? And most often you are not. You do not know everything. You learn by doing. And that's one of the nice things in Toastmasters. By the end of the year, you're actually quite good at your role. And it's actually a shame that you're finished, because at that point you would know perfectly how to do it. But the point is not only doing it well, because by doing it well, of course, you're helping people and clubs and members all over. But the purpose is to learn. So it's really important that we do this kind of roles thinking of the learning experience that we have. And one thing that I would really invite you all to do is to think, how am I going to see what I'm learning and how I'm doing? So if you do take on a role like area director, division director, or any other role that was mentioned today, think of setting up a regular evaluation system. Ask people, how am I doing? Let people give you feedback, and do that, because that way you will learn even more. Like we learn a lot by evaluations that we get in our meetings when we make a speech. For me, I have the great opportunity of being able to do the region advisor role for a second time this year. I was already region advisor last year. And that is great because I can compare what I learned last year to what I'm learning this year. taking people along, being there to help the leaders, being a coach when they need one, or being maybe just a shoulder to cry on, like Lillian mentioned, is part of my role. But it is also part of my learning experience. Every new situation is an opportunity to learn. And if you are thinking of taking one of these roles, take the role or apply for the role that makes you feel more not at ease. Put yourself out of your comfort zone. That way you will learn a lot. And you never know where you can end up. I think it was 8 years ago when I took the chance to apply for area director. And luckily, I was given that opportunity. And that opportunity led to other opportunities and all the way to the one that I am having now. And every role was an opportunity to learn new things. Have I finished learning? Absolutely no. Have I finished making mistakes? Absolutely not. But I see that from time to time I'm getting better, and maybe the support I'm giving to people is becoming better. But the amount of learning and support that I'm receiving back is incredible. You cannot imagine how much I gained from these 8 years in district or region leadership. So I strongly invite you, if you have never taken the chance to do it, and if you have taken the chance already, apply for something new. Apply for something that will make you go through some difficult times and show to yourself you're a real Toastmaster. You can take that on and shine as you learn how to do it. And with that, Daniel, I think I can give it back to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Francisco. Let's have a big round of applause for Francisco and all of tonight's excellent contributions. I appreciate that we've slipped over time slightly, 30 minutes or so, but I'm going to try to just bring it all to a close. Oh, Martin, could you pop the screen share back, please? And whilst Martin's doing that, I'd like to thank specifically Zoom Master Martin for helping facilitate the technology tonight, along with contributions from Elizabeth Welch. So 3 cheers to our Zoom Academy. We're back in the business. There you go. Continuing the theme with the region advisors discussion. Every leadership journey is a personal journey of discovery. It really is. And I'd like to bring attention to the Toastmasters Odyssey project, which is a program of peer-to-peer networking throughout the Toastmasters world. And on a four weekly cycle, you can apply to become somebody's mentor. You can apply to become a mentee, or you can apply to become a networking partner. It's, you see the address there, tm.odyssey.today. It's a fantastic opportunity to put mentorship and mentoring into your leadership journey. And it really does help make your personal journeys of leadership discovery come to life. I had a fantastic time last year as district director and made many friends, and I chat to them today. It's wonderful. That's the Odyssey project. The other thing I want to bring to your attention is that the district supports a lot of leadership roles that are in baby steps, smaller ones. The district director appoints a parliamentarian. The program quality director helps appoint 2 chief judges, one Britain, one Ireland. District director appoints an alignments chair. Program quality director appoints speechcraft chair, youth leadership program coordinator, a trainers bureau. Public relation manager has a webmaster and graphics design team. Everywhere at every level, there are contest chairs, area, division, district. Club growth director has a club quality chair, club growth chair. Big messages: express an interest today, take a baby step into the world of district leadership, become involved in these teams. Any expressions of interest to be forwarded to the new district leadership team, and you'll be invited on that journey, taking small manageable increments. Here we go. The timeline for this year's district leadership committee process. On 31st of January, the first call for the nominations closes. Interviews will then begin. Headhunting for remaining vacancies will begin, and a final call for nominations will go out. That final call will close on 31st of March, 8 weeks before the district council meeting where the elections are held. On the 15th of April, the district leadership committee will submit the nominations report to the district director. It'll be discussed and approved at the district executive committee, and on the 29th of April, the approved nominations report will be published, and a call for floor candidates will go out. If the nominations report is valid, that floor candidacy will be for any remaining vacancies where we have been able to find no officers or less than 2 club growth directors. It's important to realise that by the time we get down to floor candidates, any posts that have been filled will be closed off for further nominations from the floor. Floor candidates don't get their profiles put up on the district website, but they are put into the election and seconded. 23rd of May, a week before, the floor candidacy call will be closed. All candidates need to be interviewed to the role that they are standing for election. On the 26th, we'll have the candidate showcase where a set of test questions will be asked to each candidate. Candidates contesting the same role will be held in incommunicado and allowed into the room when it's their turn to face the questions. It gives clubs and members a chance to work out how you think and what you hold yourself accountable and what's valuable. And then on the next day, 10 a.m, district council business meeting and the elections. And Toastmasters International will be informed of the results soon after. All of the candidate profiles on the websites will come down, and by the 1st of July, you got the job. So questions and close. Open the mics, open the chat. Anybody got any questions on the district leadership roles and the way they're appointed and motivation? Far away. You're happy. We've done a perfect job. We're giving you what you need. I look forward to seeing your nominations in the post tomorrow. Well, it's a Sunday evening. I'd like to thank everyone again for all of their support in making this a really informative discussion of district officer roles and the support available for members on their leadership journeys to infinity and beyond. Thank you very much. And I'd like to close this meeting and wish you all a very good night.
Thanks, Daniel. Night, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks. Good night.
Good night. Thanks, Jen.